Uh, my name is Abdallah Kayonde. My name is Abdallah Kayonde. I'm the president, Migrant Workers Voice. Migrant Workers Voice is a labor organization. We voice for the voiceless migrant workers, mainly the economic migrant workers, people who leave their countries of origin to different destinations and have to source for work, temporary work, not permanent, such as dealing in the house domestic activities, driving, living in homes, cleaning, and trying to do other forms of work. So we try to voice for them because they are subject to very many violations, and we came up with this voice to support them and always voice for whatever challenges they may be going through, and they are not given fitness to policy.
Okay. We'll start there exactly on issues of challenges. I would like to understand, as the migrant workers voice, have you interfaced with people that you do voice for that have been in Saudi, been in those areas, Oman and all those countries, and have come back or have had challenges in regards to them being trafficked or being taken there without them knowing what they are being taken for?
Yes, we have encountered a number of cases who are irregular migrants because there is a moving train that may not stop very soon. Labor migration became a safety net whereby the push factors to it are here. And when you look at the cause of these factors are a bit political and economical. So they're a mixed kind of stuff. So we still receive these cases, and we expect that more will come. That's why we raise our voices high to sensitize, teach about the rights of workers. People didn't know that one has a right to migrate. And in doing so, some end up wanting to migrate in a very crooked way. They want to use dubious means, you know. They feel like when they go through straight channels, they will be restrained or restricted. That's where we come up and say, no, you have a right to migration. Therefore, if you must migrate, the only way to be safer where you are heading, because there are many challenges there, you are susceptible to many vulnerabilities. So you should be careful that as you go through channels that are not documented, that are not legal, the more you put your life at risk. Because if you get anywhere that or any scenario while overseas and you want to claim, you will have no trail to claim, especially if you are trafficked.
Okay. Speaking from what you just said, Mr. Abdallah, I would like to understand. In most cases, the people that we are talking about who are the migrant workers, looking at how human trafficking has infiltrated the market of migrant workers or the business of migrant workers, to what extent or what are the dynamics that we need to understand with human trafficking infiltrating migrant workers?
Here we have one challenge, that once there are means that are put in place for safe labor migration, and these means do not provide a concrete alternative. For instance, when government puts regulations in place, which regulations are supposed to manage these migrations, to govern the migrations, but these regulations are not incentivized to make a difference. For instance, a worker uses a company, a licensed company, to go to Saudi Arabia, and she finds herself, after using this company, being in more danger than even when she was trafficked. I'm not saying that people should choose trafficking other than going through the safer means, but the problem comes from even when the systems that are put in place are not delivering enough. They are not giving what is expected out of them. This element alone within the system of migration can easily render many migrant workers who may choose to go abroad to choose human trafficking than going through safer ways. And number two, the incentives. Of what difference, if you are to ask, what difference does someone who goes through a licensed company has from the one who is recruited? When they both die, they are buried without any covers, so there are no social security, they have no welfare arrangements and protection back home. And even on ground, on site, they have got no assistance. So such elements within the system, they actually they push workers from following the right way to the wrong way, because you find that the right way seemingly wants to look like the right way until somebody gets a problem. And also when it comes to disputes and the challenges at work, you find that even the safer way is very complicated than even the other one, even though the one is more risky. But you find that the regulators have a problem, and this is where they have to improve, to see that they improve in the care and support they give to these workers that have used the safer means, such that they get the right support they deserve, because they have come to them to go through that right channel. Then the other thing, they pay them well, because one thing that makes them still undocumented, the girl leaves Uganda, she goes to Saudi Arabia, and then she's not helped in a house, she runs out of that house or out of the workplace. Now they want to attach that she's undocumented. She ends up being like a trafficked person. At the end of the day, she's not supported while she has problems. So this element has to be corrected so that we can eliminate the trafficking we are talking about.
Okay. Now, having heard about issue how the migrant workers should be protected, how they're incorporated with the licensed companies, non-licensed companies taking them in there, all this leads us to one of the key topics that has been exploited over times: issues of organ trafficking. And these coming in from the people that you do need as the migrant workers. First of all, there was a story of a lady that did go there, and coming back, she had no kidney, then she had to become lame. I choose to believe you did get to listen about that story. I don't know, did you handle it?
Yes, we are the ones handling the powers of attorney, and we are following up the case.
Talk to us about that story.
Yes, Nachin to Judith is one case that actually was recruited safely, and she managed to go through the ministry arrangements, the government channels. But unfortunately, when she reached Saudi Arabia, she was rendered into dubious illicit of this kind of recruitment, where she lost her kidney. So we actually realize that people who go through trafficking channels are more at risk, because when they get such an incident, they may not get a chance to trace the people responsible. But when they go through these licensed companies, the people responsible can be traced. However, that does not mean that whoever goes through these companies cannot be actually is immune from being done onto these organ trades. Actually, they can also be, because it happened to one of us who is nurturing to Judith. She was safely recruited. Now, what does this send in our mind? That you who is traveling, you don't need to say, because you are not trafficked or you are not going through dubious means, therefore you can't be subjected to any dilemma or any illicit. It is very possible, because it has happened within the people who are aligned in the government, and they have licenses, but they still do this kind of work. So it's upon we, the migrant workers, now to look into being careful and still learning the process and observing the right channel. And the other advantage is that once you observe the right way, even if anything happens, at least you have people to pin down, like it is for Nachintu. When she got such a scenario, we could look for the responsible recruitment agents and the other party and try to put them to court. So that way, I think it also comes back to us as migrant workers. That since we are adults and we really want to be independent in this, we wouldn't want to say that it's entirely the government responsible to control this illicit, because government may not tell people that go and pick a kidney or go and take the other organ. It is these individuals who are dealing in this kind of mafia who pick interest and take advantage on you. So it is to our own now, our own responsibility, vigilance, to see that you don't allow any loophole wherever you have to travel. You don't allow any loophole for an advantage taker to misuse you.
Are there any other cases of people that have been, organ trafficked? And according to you, who do you think are the perpetrators? Who are the mafias behind this organ donation or organ trafficking issue? Because in most cases, we've had different speculations. But with you here, we understand at least you could have a little bit of some information that you could share with us in regards to the perpetrators.
Organ trade can be legal, as I am saying it. This organ, okay, I will call it organ transplant, is illegal once it is done within the mandates or the laws of the country and observing the international law. But when it comes to people who want to use to only deal in that and they are looking for people to lure them into that, it becomes illegal. We have seen Uganda bringing a law in place about organ. You can donate an organ now in Uganda, and they can transplant. So these, you will find that it is a two-way. When you ask me that who are the people behind it, even government can be party into the same arrangement, but the way government now brings it or implements it is different from what the other targets are doing. The targets wants to just misuse someone, and then they just dump, they don't care. But the ones that are being extracted out of these organs using the laws of the country, we may not interfere because they have followed the right way to do so, to save a life or to do ABCD. But those who jump on someone, they take advantage of someone. Those are the ones we are criticizing, and we say it should not happen.
Let me bring the question more straight to you. We have speculations or assertions that different government officials could be involved in organ trafficking in most cases. That even there have been speculations, even organizations like we could maybe give an example of the migrant workers or different organizations that could bring together these migrant workers. In most cases, the people working in them are also being involved or engaged in organ trafficking in that case. So what would you say about that?
It is true. Organizations have some have hidden agendas. You may never know, because the company that took Nachin to Judith, we less expected it to actually be involved in such activities, and some are done in a syndicate. You may find an organization like this one when it is working for some other agent somewhere in secrecy. So the syndicates can happen, and this is where these deals come in. Like in gold, people who are dealing in gold here, they bring in here the whites, they dupe them about the fake gold and the original gold, and then at the end of the day they turn around, and after taking all the money, they chase them away without anything. So this can also happen. Such people who have such a heart, you don't deny them involving themselves in such an activity. When it comes to organ trade, it's not like the game involves only the illicit or the illegal traders, even some government officials, because you find that the day Nachintu Judith was returned to Uganda, she was actually driven by a government car. ambulance. It was prepared to pick her and take her to Mulago Hospital. Now, how come these guys were informed something that is unusual? Many Ugandans come back limping, others come back, mentally sick. You don't find the government ambulance to pick them from Entebbe Airport. We're not saying government, but some people use government positions to misuse the image, to tarnish the image of government. So I think some people are in government and others are outside government, connecting to bring out these, to connect these deals, clearances. You can imagine how certain workers who are unfit actually to travel, they end up on board. And you find that they were cleared by ministry officials. So that's where we say some people in government are involved in this illicit. But we may not come out to pin them one by one. We only send a message to them that it's not good. And in our opinion, we think, because you saw government coming out to regulate. Government does not regulate what is not there. You very well heard the Honorable Minister, Kaindo Tafire. He was even, do you think in his age and his capacity, he can just arrange things he doesn't know? He said the Ugandans are taken there and they are served to crocodiles. So that's why we ask even that question of audit to understand, where are those missing numbers? Are there people who are taken and they have certain purpose to serve, and quietly you will never hear them again? Why is it that the regulators or people in the government offices wants to zero out? They want to zero out. They don't want to bring in workers being a party in anything. Not even workers, but even in some instances, the recruiters themselves are pushed away. And these government officials wants to keep themselves in it. What games are behind that if it's not exploitation and some illicit that is going on?
How do we control all this at the end of the day? To control this, I want to get what the migrant workers' voice would be doing, that is organizations of the different workers. Then we speak directly to the people that do go to these countries to work. How do they protect themselves? And we speak to government. How does government come in to also protect? And of course, the person that wants to go there but hasn't yet gone there.
As a voice for the voiceless, I would like to suggest that sensitizing and speaking out, speaking up to the reality can be the only way to equip the vulnerables with information to be aware and they don't fall short or fall victims of such circumstances. And on the other hand, also to send a strong warning to the people who are dealing in this illicit, that we know it earns you very easily. You don't need, if at all you get one person to serve a kidney in such a dubious style, you don't need to work for a year to get $1 billion, because the cost of some of these organs is enough, almost 1 billion something, for you to get to package 30 girls and only one person is to serve. It means you don't need, even when you open up a recruitment agency, you don't need many girls to take or many workers to export. Only one person can help you run your office for the rest of the months until the year ends. So we only want to, for us, we are playing our part as a voice, and that's why we are here, to voice for those who are voiceless, not only those who are extracted organs, but also other violations related to human rights and the workers' affairs, the workers' welfare. Wherever they are, in whichever country they are, we would wish to see migrant workers being respected and taken as humans, and all their responsibilities and rights are given to them. Their freedoms are given to them, other than seeing them as only being vulnerable and not being given whatever they deserve to protect themselves.